Who had the worst day on the state election campaign, Anastasia Palaszczuk or Tim Nicholls? He was dogged by protesters, including a busload of people he sacked, while the Premier had to explain what one of her former ministers was doing, cozying up to Pauline Hanson.
Our reporters are travelling with the candidates and are standing by to bring you the latest. Political editor Shane Doherty begins our coverage.
This is the moment Labor's re-election plans almost blew up over a pair of babies' booties.
Hello, Pauline! Congratulations!
Joanne Miller, a constant thorn in the government side, threatening to drive a dagger through its heart, not so much siding with Pauline Hanson as having Hanson side with her.
I think she's great. I really do.
There's nothing wrong with being nice. I know I get accused sometimes of being nice.
No ifs, no buts, no penalty rate cuts.
Labor's main strategy is tying Tim Nicholls to One Nation, an image he's keen to avoid.
Yes or no, would the LNP form government using One Nation support?
Pass. Hang on, the rules were you could pass.
Labor's determined his past catches up with him, with a busload of nurses the Newman government sacked.
Last time pre-election they said there'd be no cuts to frontline services. It was just the opposite.
Joanne Miller says this is nothing more than an act of nature. She intended giving the booties to Malcolm Roberts to pass along, but these things can stick in people's minds.
It's actually called being nice, being decent.
Shane, how much damage has this done to Labor?
Well, Andrew, you can never really tell at this time in the electoral cycle, but here's the Premier saying that it's inconceivable that Labor would have anything to do with One Nation at that very moment that Joanne Miller was cuddling and kissing Pauline Hanson. It's unlikely to cost them the election. It's unlikely to cost them any votes, really. But if the LNP isn't using it to make an attack ad, I'd be very, very surprised.
Shane, thank you. So, Joel, was this a chance meeting?
Absolutely not, Melissa. This was well and truly an orchestrated event designed to cause maximum embarrassment for the Premier, and it's fair to say it succeeded in doing that. We were told by some of the One Nation people that pre-polling station where we were headed, there was going to be someone there that was going to cause an issue for the Premier, put a cat amongst the pigeon, and that's exactly what eventuated. As for what it does for One Nation, it's hard to say. This was really about sending people off of Labor. One Nation don't really gain a lot from it, but Pauline Hanson was still very busy today. She made several campaign stops around the seats of Ipswich, Ipswich West and Bundamba, all seats that they certainly have their eye on. Another optic that will cause issues for the Premier is happening behind me at the moment. This is a Stop Adani protest. It started in King George Square. It has now migrated to the middle of the Queen Street Mall where, as you may be able to see behind me, people are literally sitting in to protest and raise concerns, their concerns at least, about this potential mine. Two issues that will be no doubt on the Premier's mind are what we've seen today, One Nation and Adani.
Thanks, Joel. Let's go to Ebony Calaro now. Ebony, Tim Nicholls has just touched down in Townsville.
He certainly has. In fact, we're still on the tarmac here in Townsville. Tim Nicholls addressed the Queensland Media Club at a luncheon today and then jumped straight on a plane to land in Townsville. He's here right now for a leaders forum that will happen tomorrow morning, but not all the leaders are going to attend. We understand that Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk has declined an invitation to attend that leaders forum tomorrow, but it will be attended by not just Tim Nicholls, but also the minor party leaders, including Robbie Katter and also Steve Dixon.
Ebony, thank you.